Hey everybody, welcome to me kind of run through what a offseason would look like in our Dynasty Milton Hoops League. I'm doing this just because a few big trades just went down. Before I processed them, some people were asking me questions about what the offseason looked like to make sure that they wanted to move forward in their trades. I told them that I'd make a quick video or quick videos, put them up, and everybody could watch them. Then if you were involved in that trade, DT, Cole, and Bork, just send me an email or a message saying, yeah, go ahead with the trade, and I will put it on through. Reminder, we're working from a kind of good faith relationship because this first year we're trying to work out wrinkles and we're just trying not to screw over anybody. Hopefully this answers questions. If you still have questions after this, go ahead and hit me up. I hear back from some people occasionally on this league, mostly just like 2 or 3 people, which is nice. If you're ever confused, please let me know. If you're ever wondering why something is the way it is, hit me up. I have my reasons, and I'll try to explain them, and hopefully you feel good about it. Also, I'm trying my best, so there's some things I worded poorly in the Constitution. There was an amendment I made to the Constitution at the beginning of the season that some people missed, but if you have concerns about me running the league or whatever, talk to me about those, and we can put them up to the group or whatever. But I think most people are still on board and are kind of excited for our crazy little offseason. So I'll get started. The first thing that happens in the offseason is we go to the playoffs. And the same rules apply that we had before in the playoffs. Rosters lock. This year, there might be more than 20 players on a team because of the injured reserve. That's fine because there will still only be 20 active players on a team. So if you have some injured dude, you can still roll forward because that's the way that we've been playing the league the entire year. It wouldn't make sense to change now. Playoffs are the same. Top 2 teams get byes. It goes all the way to the end, and that determines the payouts and the draft positions, which I'll talk about more when we get to the draft part. All right. To talk about our offseason, I'm just going to look at my team, and I can make hypothetical decisions about my team and kind of hopefully simulate to you guys what the offseason would look like. So here are my salaries and years of my team right here, and we're going to go into the first part of the offseason. And this part of the offseason you have to complete probably like a week or 2 before we have our big draft day, okay? And the first part of the offseason that you've got to complete is the offseason option. Now, what happens when the offseason starts is my team no longer looks like this because everybody who is on a 1-year deal becomes a restricted free agent. So, my old roster goes away, and in comes my new roster of players that I still have under contract and my free agents. Okay? You can take a look like Kyrie Irving is now 26 and 3 years. He used to be 26 and 4 years, but a year has passed. Boom. So that is kind of what your new roster looks like. Players you still have that you don't have to do anything with, and players who are restricted free agents. To the offseason option. There are 2 options that you have for your offseason option, okay? You don't have to do either one of them, but you can't do both. You have to choose one, okay? You can choose franchise player or extend a player. And let me first talk about franchise player. If you choose franchise player, it is one of your restricted free agents, one of your dudes who was on a 1-year deal and is now a free agent. You can choose one of these guys and say, he is my franchise player. On my team, they're all puddles of poop except for this guy. Devin Booker's pretty good, so I might make him my franchise player. What that means is that if somebody signs him during free agency, I get their next year's first-round pick. That's what the franchise player means. We'll talk about that in detail more during the free agent portion of this. But in simple terms, if somebody signs him and I don't match the contract and he goes to a different team, I get that team's first round pick for the next year. The other option is extend a player. This is not one of these guys. It's one of the players you actually have on your team. So I could choose to extend one of these players for 1 year more. That's my one finger. But I'd have to pay him $10 more salary. So I could look here and be like, oh, maybe I want to extend Jaylen Brown. So now I have him 2 years at $11. Make sense? Those are your two options. You could use franchise player or extend a player. But if you extend a player, you add $10. I'm going to talk about the rest of this franchise player stuff once we get to free agency. Cool. That's the off-season option. Next video will be about the draft and free agency.